Hey everyone, I'm Shawn of WebPianoTeacher.com. How you doing? Today I'm going to show you how to read a chord sheet and also how to embellish when you're playing, how to add some spice to your chords as you're playing, okay? We're going to use a song today that's a praise and worship song. This will help you whether you're into this song or others. It's all the same thing as playing chords with songs. But anyway, we're going to do this. I love you, Lord, for your mercy ever fails me. All my days been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. So there's the verse. We're going to do all of it. We're going to do the verse, the chorus, and the bridge, so you can play the whole thing. And I'm going to show you kind of a way to start with it, and then how to kind of graduate to start to improvise, because a lot of people, they can find the chord, but they go, how do I make it cool? How do I put a beat to it and make it sound neat while I'm playing, when someone's singing? So I'm going to show you all that. It's not as hard as you might think. It's really not. So we get into it here. We are in the key of G. If you're starting to read chord sheets, make sure you find songs that are in easy keys, okay? This is the key of G. G's a great one. Key of C, of course. Key of D with two sharps. Key of F. I would stay away from lots of sharps and a whole lot of flats when you start, just because it makes it more difficult. Learn the easier chords first. Then when you go to flat keys and sharp keys, all you're doing is putting flats and sharps on the same letter chords that you learned in these easier keys. So take my advice on that if you would. Just play a lot of songs in easy keys, and then you can graduate to doing sharps and flats. All right, so I love you, Lord. We're going to start with a G chord there. See the G? And when you see a letter chord, we just assume it's major unless it says minor, okay? That says EM, so I know that's a minor. If it's just the letter, then I know it's major. We just assume major unless it says otherwise, okay? So there's a G major chord. When you see the letter chord, you start on the G note and you just go GBD. It's just a GBD chord, okay? Anytime you have a G chord, it could be GBD. It could be like this too. BDG this way. There's three ways to play it, if you have three notes. All right. And I'm just going to start with, let's see, what's the best way? Trying to figure out the easiest way for you guys. Let's just start like this. GBD. That's easy, right? Octave in the left hand. So you have the chord in the right, GBD, and the same letter can go in the bass. Almost always. Sometimes a different bass note will be on the chord, but in praise and worship stuff, in country music, and all, it's usually always that note's in the octave on the bass, okay? So the simplest way, I love you, Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our G chord, okay? And you notice there's only so many chords. You're only going to have to learn about 3 or 4 of them, okay? So the next chord we have is a C chord. Now, I know this is a C chord, and you probably know C, E, G, and then left hand on a C. But you don't want to do this. It's too far to move there. It's a lot easier to play the C chord this way. Look at that, G, C, E. It's still C, E, G. I just have it, rearranged with the G on the bass, but that makes it easier to get from the G chord to the C chord. So if I'm going to go G to C, it's a lot easier to do this. When you get to other songs, you can do the same thing, okay? Other songs that are in the key of G. So there's my C chord. So I love you, Lord. I'll show you how to embellish a little later. We're just going to get the bare bones here. 2, 3, for your mercy never. And I'm only going to do two times on that C chord because I'm following the word. See, the letter in a good chord sheet, the chord will be right over the syllable that changes, okay? I love you, Lord. 2, 3, and then the C chord. For your mercy never fails. And then the G chord goes there, actually a little bit after. Fails me. 2, 3, all my day. All right, so I went back to G there. Now I'm going to go to E minor. All right, so E minor, okay, see the M there, E minor. Okay, don't freak out. It's just a natural chord you have in the key of G. So an E is here, E, G, B. Those are the letters in an E minor chord always, okay? So when you see, you got to get this. This is really key, and it's really a revelation to a lot of people. When you have an E chord, it's going to have the letters E, G, B. Now, you may have more letters if it's a 7th or 9th or 13th or whatever. You add other notes on top of that, but it always has the foundation of E, G, B, okay? E, G, B, it always has that. You can always start with that. Even if you add flats and sharps all over everything, the letters are still E, G, B in an E chord, whether it's minor, major, augmented, diminished, 7th, flat 13, whatever you have, whatever crazy thing you have the letters E, G, B. So get that in your mind, okay? E, G, B when you have an E chord. And we're going to do E minor. Now, what's the easiest way to do it? Oh, no, I think it's just right here. Look at that. E, G, B is the best, it's easiest played right here. Because I don't want to move around a lot, and it sounds smoother if I don't move too much on my inversions of my chord. An inversion is just playing the chord in a different order instead of root position. All right, so I'm going to do it like this. G, B, E. All my day. And what is the bass note going to be? It's going to be the letter that's there. Days. Now, you might say, well, how would I know that's minor? Well, it just automatically is in the key of G. If that middle note, if it's raised or lower, determines if it's major or minor. Listen to happy E. E major, E minor is the lowered G. Doesn't matter if the key's black or white. It's just if it's in its raised or lowered position. If I did a C chord and I lowered the middle note, that would be minor. Okay? Just a little explanation on minor there. So all my days held in your hand. I know I'm not singing it exactly right, but we're here for the chords, right? We go back to C chord. In your hand. From the moment that I... Now, so there's a C chord. We know how to do that, all right? Now we're going to go to D chord. In the key of G, the D chord's going to have an F sharp. D, F sharp, A. It's D major, okay? You're going to have F sharp in the key of G a lot. Anytime you come across an F, it'll be sharped, unless it's written otherwise, okay? I'm in this area of the piano, so I'm just going to play it right here. It's easiest to play it right here. I don't have to move around. D, F, A, D, F sharp, A. If I'm already right here, it's just easier to go F sharp, A, D. Okay? From the moment that Now let's practice that from the beginning. Go. I love you, Lord. G chord. Sin and then a G chord. 2, 3. On my E minor. I've been seeing your hand. D chord. 2. No. Now could I do the D chord this way? Yeah, I could. I certainly could. In fact, you might prefer that. A, D, F sharp. See, I have a choice there. It's still a D chord. It's just a different way to play it. Say which way to do it. It's up to you. From the moment that I wake up. So now I have E minor again. I already know that. G, B, E. See, we're repeating these chords we already learned. Wake up. C chord. There's the C. Till I lay my head, I will sing. Okay. Now we have some chords in a row here. We have the G chord. And then we have a D chord. And actually, when you play that, you might see sometimes, you ever see a D and then you have like a fraction. It says D and then it has a line and this is F sharp on the bottom. Well, an F sharp on the bottom just means you're going to play a D chord with F sharp on the bottom. It's called a pedal note. Now, F sharp is actually part of a D chord, right? So it's not like it's a completely different chord. You just have F sharp on the bottom. It gives you a different sound and it lets you have that walking bass line. I will sing. You could even have another chord here. On I will, you could put a D chord. They don't have it in this arrangement, but you could put a D chord there. In fact, I'm going to do that. You want to put that there? You can't put a D there. So, so G chord. Now, when I play the D here, I'm going to put an F sharp in the bass. Okay? You could put an F sharp under there, so you know. Write it like a fraction. D's the numerator, F sharp's the denominator. E minor. Regular old E minor. I will. Now, regular D chord with a D on the bass. Then you get that nice descending bass line. Listen to that. Bum, bum, bum. I will sing. That's what's happening whenever you hear a descending bass line in a song. That's what's happening. You're playing chords, and that bass is just moving down by steps. So that means some of the chords are not going to have the name of the chord in the left hand. You're going to have a different letter, but that should be marked in the music normally when you're playing from a chord sheet. They're not always correct. They're very notoriously wrong, but if you can get your hand on a good source, you can keep using them. All right, till I lay G, D and F sharp on the bottom, E minor, I will. There's the D chord. Sing. Now here's the C chord. I could do it this way, or I could do it this way. Look, E, G, C. Still a C chord. I want you to choose. Don't just depend on me or other people. I will sing. I'm going to do I'm good. And I'm going to do the D chord. So God. Okay, so you have some choices. You can do the C chord this way, E, G, C, or this G, C, E. But that left-hand octave is just going to be, you know, whatever the letter is, except for that one time right there where I put F sharp on the bottom. Now we're going to do the whole verse here, and then we'll move on to the chorus, and I'll show you that. And I'm also going to show you how to improvise, how to embellish, okay? We can do that, but it's always a good idea to get the bare bones chords first before you start trying to add stuff, all right? So here we go. Here's the verse, and I love you, Lord. 2, 3, 4. For your mercy never fails me. 2. All my days I've been held in your hand. D chord. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All right, I'm going to show you all this. I know I played a little bit different things in there. I'm going to show you what I did there too when I played the chord a little bit differently on the top. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do a little talking about embellishment on this, and then we'll get to the chorus. Okay, and then we'll, you know, get to the chorus. So as you're embellishing, so the chords first. Plunk, 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 quarter, no quarter. That's the you know, the simplest way to start with, right? A lot of Beatles songs just have plunk, 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 plunk. And many other songs. But as you start to add stuff, I'm going to tell you something that'll really help you. And if you'll do it, it'll help you. And if you don't, it won't. I tell people a lot of things, and then they don't do it, and then it's not going to work. I've been doing this for almost 40 years, teaching piano, so I know a thing or two. And just because of the experience, not because I'm smart, but because I've taught so many piano lessons in my life. And this is the way I've made a living for the past 20 years, teaching online. But if you'll get yourself a pair of bongo drums or a drum set, if you have a drum set, that's fine too. But you need to just start playing. Turn up your favorite music, your praise and worship or whatever you're listening to, and play the bongos with it. Make up rhythms. Dun, 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 dun. Just go at it with the music turned up really loud, and you'll develop that rhythm within you. Okay, guitar players kind of naturally have this because they have to. That's how you'd play the instrument. Drummers, of course, have it automatically. Piano players, it's tougher for us because it's not a lot of times stressed on our instrument, okay? But if you'll get just something to, even if you can't afford bongos, get something to hit on the table, a desk, or, you know, a couple of paint cans or something, just to beat on, to exercise that rhythm part of your brain, okay? And then you can go back and put the notes in. It really, really helps, and it solves a lot of problems. I can't play my hands together. I can't feel the rhythm. I can't. You'll be fine if you'll just do a little drumming, okay? Turn up your music and play, and I guarantee a lot of that will be solved. All right, so here's what we're going to do. All right, love you. Here's the very simplest way to embellish, is just to go... doing. I'm just playing the top 2 notes of the chord and then my thumb instead of going. Okay, I'm going. All right, here's the third thing. That was the second thing, is to add that. Third thing is to add that thumb in the left hand a little bit. So now I'm adding my left hand, dun, 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 like the kick drum and the snare of a drum set. Dun, 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 2, 3. All my days I've been held in your hand. You're wondering what I'm doing there. So I'm playing a suspension, okay? All I'm doing, the chord is an, D chord, D, F sharp, A. I'm suspending the G, spinning the F sharp to a G and go. You can do that on any chord. You just take that, one of the notes and raise it up and go. Dun, 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 dun. Where am I at? Wake up. On on the E minor, I just made it an E minor 7. I played a G, B, D in there over the E minor. That makes it E minor 7, E, G, B, D. Now you're learning some cool stuff. E minor 7. I can do an E minor 7 there instead of E minor because it's the foundation of it's E minor. I can add stuff on top. Oh, sorry. C chord. Till I lay my head. Another E minor 7. E minor 7 is like playing an E in the bass and a G chord on the top. G chord on the right hand, E in the bass. That's an E minor 7 if you want to think of it that way. Okay? All right, so you learn a suspension there. You learn the E minor 7. And we're putting some rhythm. We're playing the drums on the piano. We're playing the guitar on the piano. Here's something I do. When I play the G chord, I'll do this. So if you're in a root position chord, you just put that 2 finger down right where it lies. Anytime on the G chord, I can do that. I'm showing you all my tricks, okay? Everybody can do it. Na, na, na. Na, 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 na. D suspended. From the moment that I wake. I can kind of do it on the E minor, too. Now here's on the C, watch this. If I do the C chord this way, I can do that 2-5 thing. See, you've heard that all the time, right? The goodness, D suspended, of God. So just the things I showed you right now, I kind of went through them quick. But you can transform your playing from this simple and nothing else, just the octave and the chord, to I love you, Lord. I'm just, and guys, all the other notes, you go, where were all those notes coming? I'm just playing the notes I already told you I was on. I'm not, getting some magic notes somewhere. It's the same ones I'm on. I'm just playing a rhythm with them. And everybody thinks, I'll never do that. Yes, you can. It's not that, I won't say it's not hard. It's difficult. You got to work at it, but it's no mystery. I'm just playing the notes I'm already on already. That's what everyone does. That sounds really good playing on, and everybody goes, "Oh man, they're so good on piano," but they're just playing the notes and the chords that they're already on more. Okay, so there's the verse. Ready for the chorus? Okay, so those of you who really want to learn this song are sticking around, I hope, and. We're going to do the chorus now. All right, so here we go. So first, what do? Bare bones, just straight chords. All my life you have been faithful. This is really high. All my life you have been so good. Really high. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness. Okay, so it's really high, and I chose the key because it was an easy key to play in. So you of course are going to have to adjust for your voice wherever your voice is, but we're just trying to learn to play here. All right, so C chord. How are you going to play that? You can do it this way. All right, you ever seen people play 4 notes in a chord? All they're doing is doubling the bottom note or the top note. Like I got a G here, I can put a G here. See that? Or I can do it this way. I got an E here, I can put an E here. Someone's playing 4 notes. That's what they're doing, unless it's a 7th chord. They're just doubling. They're just playing an octave, and that's all they're doing. It's a 4-note chord. It fills it out a little bit. So if I go... Remember I taught you on the C chord to do this? The 2-5 on the DG? Or the G chord? Okay. Well, I can grab 4 notes on this guy here and do C, G, and then double the G, and then I go. What am I doing on the G? I'm playing the G up here, B, D, G, Remember when I was here and I showed you the A thing? Okay. Well, I can play it like this, and then I can still do the A. Now I know that the A is the note I'm getting to. The A is the note I'm adding for flavor. Back to C. My life, you have been so good. I did my suspension. I showed you can use it all over the place. Now you can use it all the time. C chord. With every breath that I am able. Here's the descending bass on. Remember that? I will sing the good D suspension of God. Okay, very simple. It's just. If you need to play it simple first, that's fine. That's how you start. And then you do this. All my life I have been faithful. And then you add a little more left hand in there. You go. That's too much. All right, so there's the chorus there, okay? We got one more part. We got the bridge. Normally on a praise and worship, there's the verse, chorus, bridge, and many times the intro is just, the verse chords. We just start with that. So, yeah, play a lot of stuff in the key of G. We're going to get the bridge here, and you'll have the whole thing. But be patient with yourself. And as far as that rhythm stuff, you hear me doing that. Oh, that's cool. I want to be able to do that. You can. You totally can. Just you got to work on the rhythm part of it away from the piano sometimes. That will help you just, work that muscle in your brain where you're just working on the rhythm and you don't got to think. And rhythm is instinct. You ever notice how a lot of people can just drum and you go, oh, you sound pretty good. Are you a musician? No, I never played. Because drums is kind of one of those things that rhythm, you can just develop in you without having have to have formal lessons or anything. It's kind of in all of us, okay? All right, so let's get to the bridge, and then you'll know the whole thing. No, I went to, let's see. All right, there's the bridge, and we'll have it after this, okay? So what do? We start with G chord, your goodness, C chord, and now it's running. Now the D chord can be here or here. To me, G chord, your goodness is running out. D chord, and a G chord. My life laid down, surrender now, give you everything. Your goodness is running out. So you have some options. You play the G chord here, the G chord here, the D chord here, the D chord here, C chord here, C chord here. So practice playing the different inversions, okay? And then practice when you play the chord, adding that to when you play in root position. There's a neat one. There's the E minor. Remember how E minor 7 is kind of like, a G on top of an E bass? Well, I taught you how to do that. It's kind of an Elton John chord. Your goodness is running. G chord. Na, 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 na. That should take you through the whole thing, guys. If you have other praise and worship songs you'd like me to do, put them in the comments, and I may do them. I may not, but I may do it. So I hope this helped you. I hope to help everybody who wants to read chord sheets and start putting rhythm. It's really, you got to go down the right avenue. You can waste a lot of time trying to do the wrong thing, practicing the wrong way. And you can spend a lot less time and be way more productive if you go down the right avenues as you're doing it. So I'm trying to show you that here. Been teaching almost my whole life, so I know a few things. I hope you take them to heart and use them and enjoy your music. God bless you guys. Talk to you later.